There are 5 lies that you may be telling yourself about becoming debt-free. Let's talk about them. Hi, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
From Under the Median. We raised our kids and we did do it debt-free on an income which was consistently under the U.S. national average. But along the way, on our way to becoming debt-free, there were some lies that we actually told ourselves. And we want to see what you think and get your input on these 5 lies that people tell themselves about becoming debt-free. Lie number 1.
Lie number 1 is people will respect me more if I'm debt-free.
Here's the truth. If people do not respect you now, it is highly unlikely that magically when you become debt-free, they will suddenly begin to respect you. Now, we had some experience with this. We had some close family members that we had shared our plans to become debt-free and a little bit about our journey, and they actually stridently disagreed with us. They did not think we should pay the house off early. In fact, they made remarks about the fact that I should probably go back to school, Larry should probably go back to school, I should go back to work full time, and they just had very definite opinions about our life. Now, here is our best advice in that situation. Do not over-explain yourself.
Yeah, it really doesn't do any good. In our case, they really did have some good, solid reasons for why they do what they do. For instance, they didn't think it was wise to pay the house off when you could invest that money and make that money on interest. And I've heard that argument before.
Sure.
But I think you're much safer by paying that house off, especially if you get a layoff or something. There's something you don't have to worry about owing somebody. And it does give you a little freedom in your budget if you don't have that debt load. So we felt for ourselves it was better the way we were living under our income restraints to go debt free. So that wasn't the reaction we expected from our family, but that's okay. You have to do what you want to do for your own reasons and for your own benefit of your family, and not worry about what other people think.
And I think he made a really valid point. Usually when we're disappointed, it's because we did not get the reaction that we expected to get from somebody. And sometimes in life that just happens and you have to let it go. I will say that we have been completely debt-free for over 20 years now. And the fact that we've done okay for ourselves and the fact that we've remained debt-free and the fact that our kids turned out okay, I think we did gain back some of that respect factor. But you have to let time be on your side in that case. And you can't constantly be trying to plead your case to them. Sometimes it's best just to let it lie, go ahead, do what you think is best, and don't seek their advice, and then just wait and let time be your best ally.
Yeah, and don't try to explain yourself to others. If they don't understand you, just let it go at that and just let it lay. That's the best thing that we've found to do. And the other thing is you really can't do this for the approval of others. You need to do it for yourself.
Lie number 2 is, when I am debt-free,
all of my problems will be solved.
No. Here's the truth. Life is not a straight trajectory. We have been married 33 years now. We just celebrated our 33rd wedding anniversary.
Yay.
And life has been far from a straight trajectory. With debt and without debt, life still did not go according to plan. And so you cannot look to being debt-free as being the panacea for all of your problems.
No. Now, of course, it is an improvement. But, just like dieting, a lot of people will go on a diet for a while, and they'll lose some weight. But if they haven't changed their overall habits, they'll go back to being the same weight that they were, maybe even more before they started. The same is true with debt load. You have to change your spending habits, and it takes a lot of work to do that.
Here's the truth, guys. Money does not solve problems. Money pays for things,
Yeah.
but it does not solve problems.
The third point is, this is the next thing that
If I am debt-free,
I will be happier.
yes, instantly happiness will be mine. Not true. Now, we're not going to lie. Being debt-free does relieve a certain amount of pressure.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
But I think we have to really define happiness. Happiness is a state of mind. Happiness says, I am just as happy driving around my Ford Festiva as I am driving around a Rolls Royce, okay? Two totally different cars. But I can be happy.
Happiness is a choice. You know, I was giving Hope an example when we were kind of preparing for this video. I sit downtown in Peoria. I sit downtown and I watch the cars when I'm on my breaks. I'll go out and sit on a bench and eat my popcorn and and so on. And I notice the cars driving by. So there's some really nice cars like the new Lincolns, and then maybe behind that car will be an inexpensive, like maybe a Chevy Malibu. And I just wonder, is the person driving the Lincoln that much happier than the person that I see, you know, maybe tap into some tunes that they have playing in the car, and you know, does that Lincoln make them any happier? And I kind of think not. I think there's a choice involved between those two drivers. They can each choose to be happy with what they have. And I've seen people that have very little money that are actually very happy.
When we were raising the boys with very little income, we chose to live in happiness. And that is exactly why the tagline on this channel is living with joy and abundance on a shoestring budget. Our budget we didn't allow our budget to tell us whether we should be happy or not. We had so much fun raising the kids and finding things to do that didn't cost us any money. And just because they didn't cost us any money didn't mean that it wasn't just as meaningful as something that would have cost us money. We chose joy.
Yeah, so basically, being debt-free, I don't feel it makes you any happier. It takes some pressure off, and it allows you to do some things that you couldn't do otherwise with your money. It also will allow some freedom in your finances that you don't have, but it won't make you happier.
Nope,
That's
won't
something
bring happiness.
you have to choose for yourself.
All right, line number 4. When I am debt-free,
I won't have to budget.
no.
Wrong. That's what I was thinking.
Not the truth.
Yeah.
You know how millionaires became millionaires?
They budgeted.
Yes, they did. We have some dear friends that actually, to look at them. Now, Larry will verify. I am telling you the truth.
Yeah.
You would look at what they wear, what they drive, where they live. You would look at all of their stuff and think, these people are not well-to-do.
Let me give some examples. They wear old clothes. They even look a little, at times, maybe a little frumpy. They are not trendy. Their furniture was furniture from the 70s covered with sheets. But you know what?
Yes, but it was pristine underneath.
I bet it was.
Wore like iron.
I bet it was. And you know what I noticed about them was they're not interested in impressing anybody, and they were wonderful, absolutely wonderful people. But we felt that, you know, probably from their income and the way that they did not spend money, they were probably millionaires.
Several times over.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But they got that way by being careful with their money. Now, are we telling you that to be debt-free, you have to dress frumpy? I hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not. That is not the point we're trying to make.
No, not at all.
So don't use that as your takeaway, guys, all right? So the takeaway is that you become debt-free by learning to budget. And after you're debt-free, if you want to stay that way, guess what you have to do? You got to budget.
Now,
it doesn't change.
In budgeting, I think it's a lot harder to be debt-free than it is to run up debt. And here's why. You have to do a lot more planning. You have to plan for that savings toward the items that you're going to buy without debt. So you have to be very careful how much money you're putting in the bank every month to save up for a replacement car. You have to be saving it when you don't need to. When you don't think you need another car. We're saving up for another car that eventually we'll buy. Hopefully, we're hoping now to keep the cars we have for about 10 years. I would really hope to.
Really?
But that doesn't mean we can't. We don't plan. It means we have to plan. So planning takes discipline. It means saying no 1,000 times over to some of the things that maybe you want. But the nice thing about it is that you're paying cash. You're not enslaved to the bank. Nobody can take those items away from you. There is some freedom in that. And frankly, I sleep a little better at night knowing that I don't owe anybody anything.
Now, as we continue with our list, we would love to know, do you agree with our list? Give us some feedback in the comments section and tell us, is there another lie you think people tell themselves about becoming debt-free that we're not talking about in this video and we haven't hit on yet? All right, the next thing that people tell themselves, when I'm debt-free,
I'll be able to buy anything I want.
anything,
Woo!
the world is my oyster.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, no, not the case.
No.
When you are debt-free, you still have to keep looking down the line. And that is why we consistently on this channel tell you need to have a list of short, medium, long-term goals. You need to put those goals in front of you. You make sure you're making progress on those goals. That absolutely does not change just because you've hit that magic number of I owe people 0. You still have to do a lot of the same planning that you did in order to get debt-free in the first place. Now, do you have some extra money to work with? Of course you do.
Yeah.
But does that mean you don't have to think about money and you can just spend it however you want to? No, because you know what? If you do, you're going to wind up right back in debt.
Yeah, it means that all the interest that you otherwise would be paying, that is your money now to spend. And if you're paying, I don't know what interest rates are on homes. I know it's not real high, but still, that's still money that you have in your budget that you can use for better things.
All right. If you want to know, y'all, 10 ways that you can radically reduce your expenses. Let's say you're like, yes, but help me. I'm trying to get debt-free. We're not saying, by the way, that you should not become debt-free. We absolutely think you should. We advocate for it. We've been debt-free for a really long time. And in fact, next week, make sure you're watching because we are going to do a video that tells you 6 great things about being debt-free. We think debt-free is great, but we don't think debt-free is a panacea that's going to make you different inside than you are now. It's not going to change who you are. It's not going to change your happiness factor. It's not going to make people respect you. It's not going to mean any of those things. It's a great thing. It's a good thing, but it doesn't mean that it's going to solve all your problems, okay? But if you want some real help, honest help, on how you can cut your expenses, if becoming debt-free is something you're really reaching for, we want to make sure you've got some help from us right away, all right? So we have a free ebook, and the ebook is 10 ways to radically reduce your expenses. These are all 10 ways that we used when we were becoming debt-free and when we were striving on a low income to pay cash for the house we currently live in. So if you want to get your hands on that free resource, there's going to be a link in the description of this video, and we would love to send it your way. Hey, thanks for letting us share today. And once again, we would love your feedback in the comments section of this video. Do you agree with our 5 points about lies people tell themselves about being debt-free? What do you think of our points? And did we miss any points? Let us know, and we will see you next week on the program when we're going to talk about 6 wonderful things about being debt-free, good things about becoming debt-free. So make sure that you don't miss it. Best way to do that, not to miss it, is
subscribe.
Yes, and ring that notification bell so that YouTube will let you know the next time that we drop our next video.
We'll see ya.
And I will say this, don't over-explain yourself to people. And Larry actually said something. Did this sound like a body?
I think the house fell in.
Oh my word. I don't know what I was saying.
You were talking about over-explaining yourself.
Okay.
Back when I was in high school, I used to work for a local dairy store called Shire's Dairy. This is the ice cream container and one of the quart bottles that we used back in those days.